How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the CanucksLand Podcast, where today I am happy to be joined by a man who needs no introduction when it comes to my channel, because half of you probably know me because of him. He's got just over 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's on the screen. I should be able to read it. He live streams every Vancouver Canucks game and a lot Abbey Canucks games. I'm not sure. He is doing Olympic. All right, he is doing the Olympics. It's on the screen too. I should know this. Nothing is perfect, aka Russell Holiday. How's it going? Welcome to the
I'm
channel.
I'm good. CanucksLand, how you doing, my dude? It's
I
always good to see you.
I'm doing great. School's kicking me in the ass a little bit, but that's because it's electrical level two and it's a lot of math. But I'm a math nerd, so luckily I'm doing good. How was doing the live stream for the Olympics this morning? That was probably real fun.
It was fun, yeah. It's nice to see a team that can actually play some structured hockey and win some games. So it was good to see
Yeah, exactly how I
very
felt.
clearly John Cooper coached team out there. So
Oh
that was
yeah.
fun to see, and the boys were looking good today. So it was great to see.
All right. Any other thoughts about Team Canada while we get into it here? Because that is the first topic. We're hopping right into it. The first goal from Macklin celebrated. Do you think that really opened the floodgates? Because it seemed like they weren't really too coordinated until that goal went in.
Yeah, I mean, for Canadian fans, I think we were all excited not to be at 2-2 against Team Italy, so that was a good sign for us.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where even though the shots were even at by the time Macklin scored with whatever it was, like 5 seconds left in that first period,
Uh-huh.
the quality of the shots was really what was a good sign to see. Whereas
Yeah.
there was, I think it was 11 shots by Czechia, but I would say I don't know if you would call any of them a high danger scoring chance. And then for Canada, they had 11 shots. I would say probably half, if
Yeah.
not six of those shots were probably high danger. So even though it was closer than it should have felt, it's nice to see the goal go in because obviously you're going into that first emission 0-0 could be pretty scary for a
Yeah.
team like Canada.
Um, did you see the stat at the end of the game? I'm pretty sure where it was like McDavid set up more chances and had more chances than the entire Czechia team combined. It was insane. As much as I want to give Jordan Binnington props, it didn't seem like it was too tough of a game. But it was really nice to see Jordan Binnington getting the shutout. Was that the only thing you were really concerned about when it came to Team Canada going into this game? Was how the goaltending would fare? Compared if we knew that the forwards and all the players would probably push this team past Czechia. Did you think that the goaltending would be a bit of an issue?
I don't think I was too concerned with Bennington because that has been Team Canada's philosophy for a long time.
Yeah.
We saw that in 2010. We saw that in 2014, right? Like
Uh-huh.
Roder started in 2010, Luongo took over, and the Luongo started in 2014, and then Carey Price took over, right? So it was one of those things where I think that's kind of what we expected.
Yeah.
And I'd say Bennington made maybe one really high danger chance save, and that was off of our very own David Camp. So at first I was like, oh my God, that was a great save. And I was like, oh wait, it was David Camp. All right, that's easy then. No, anyone could save that shot off of him. So, but I mean, it's still the preliminary rounds too for Team Canada. So
Uh-huh.
you're not too concerned, even if they do end up losing. If Jordan Binnington came out and looked really, really bad, you're gonna switch over to two other guys who have Stanley Cups in their belts. So
Yeah.
I think the level of concern wasn't too high for that. It was more just about making sure that the team looked like they were ready to go,
Uh-huh.
looked like the structure was there, and John Cooper's a smart man.
Yeah.
Having all these guys who play together on teams together, like at one point you saw a Florida line. So you had the top line of
Oh, so
Reinhardt
fun to
with
watch.
Bennett
Yeah.
and Marchand, and then
Yeah.
you had Cale Makar and Taves playing together on the D pair, right?
Yeah.
So John Cooper very smart in that way, making sure that the chemistry was already built in, and man, just a lot of really good hockey players out there. So I don't know if I had any concerns going into this game. I was just looking forward to having a really good game against the Czechs.
Uh-huh. With those other goaltending tandems you did point out, though, I feel like the quality of goaltending was definitely a little bit better when it comes to those guys than it is right now. But I do trust Bennington as a person who's watched him play for Team Canada. I really had no concerns when it came to him. I thought that was all just made up, even though, yeah, he is not playing great with St. Louis. It seems like he could just flip a switch, and he knows how to play when the moments shine bright. Um, Speaking of which, John Cooper, you think is a great coach. How weird was it seeing Rick Tocchet as the assistant coach and a team play with so much energy and so much offense with him on the bench?
Rick Tocchet further proving that he's a great assistant coach.
Yeah,
Maybe not the guy who should be the head coach, right?
yeah,
So I think I don't honestly I don't even remember seeing him on the bench. I remember someone in my chat today was jump scare, it's Rick Talk, right? So, but I don't remember seeing his shiny head at all during that game. Most of the time, once they cut to away from it, I'm into chat, so I kind of
Yeah.
avoid seeing those kind of shots. But I mean, that's the thing. At the end of the day, Rick Tocchet as a defensive coach, and
Yeah.
he's really good at showing what to do. And they were playing that. They looked a lot like the Canucks defense did. That zone
Uh-huh.
defense, playing really, really good structure out there. So I mean, we wish we could probably go back to that with the assistant coach, the Rick Tocchet that we have now.
Yeah, definitely the same style in terms of like I feel like they're a bit better of coach, the person that we're going to be getting into in this podcast.
Yeah.
One last question about the Olympics, and it's really just a fun question: how much better is seeing McDavid on the ice for Team Canada rather than in the Oilers? Oh my! For me, it's just so fun just seeing how he can fly up and down the ice, but. A second part of that question: how much do you miss Bo Horvat now being able to cheer with him again with that beauty goal he scored for Team Canada today? So it's two-parter. It's just the McDavid one, how fun it is watching McDavid's a pretty easy slam dunk question, but how much do you miss Bo Horvat being the second part as we can now watch him with on one of the teams we're cheering for?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is in my chat there has been and comments in my videos and stuff like that. There's still a few people who watch my channel that are like, I can't cheer for Connor McDavid. I can't cheer for Brad Marchand. And
Yeah,
that's thing. I think for the Four Nations face off last year, I think I struggled as well to cheer
yeah,
for
a little
McDavid.
bit.
Right. But once you see him in the Canadian colors, the maple leaf on his chest, fine. And he comes in, very first thing McDavid does is throws a big old body check, knocks a guy right on his booty.
Setting the
Right.
tone.
So, exactly. Right. And you got McDavid who, he does throw the odd hit in the NHL, but
Yeah.
that one felt different. That was 12 years of rage from McDavid
Mm-hmm.
coming in and throwing a hit there. And that's something I've been saying to my chat and saying to people in my comments is, man, I get it. I get it. Brad Marchand's a rat. McDavid always torches us. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, they got the maple leaf on their chest. And right now, it's our pleasure to cheer for them because I guarantee. And you remember when I brought you on the first time, the getting to know you questions on Nothing is Perfect.
Yeah.
One of the question is, which player from a hated rival do you secretly want to have as a member of the Vancouver Canucks?
Yeah.
And a lot of people use the cheat answer, which is McDavid, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've had a couple people say Brad Marchand. I think you said Brad
I said
Marchand, right?
Marchand, yeah.
So I mean, for me, it's like it's just nice to not have to worry about that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, the Canadian team is the gold favorites, and for this 3 week period, we're all Canucks,
Mm-hmm.
aka Canadians,
Yes.
and so it's good to cheer for them. And then Bo Horvat, yeah, just a dagger to the heart. Because then obviously once he does that breakaway, and of course it's hilarious because he gets a pass from Marchand while Marchand's being checked by Hronek,
Yeah.
the guy who was essentially traded Bo Horvat for, right?
Yeah.
And then Bo Horvat, smooth hands. And just the other day, Bo Horvat posted something I think on his Instagram. He's doing some advertisements for red lights or something like that are supposed to help you recover or something.
Mm-hmm.
But he's showing the inside of his like training facility. And if you watch, there is a Canuck rink and stick logo lamp on his wall in his workout facility. So
Yeah.
it still stabs him in the heart to know that he was the captain of a team and they decided to take some Yankee over him. So I mean, I do. Yeah, there it is. Right? Like the funny thing is people have told me repeatedly that I look like Bo Horvat. My wife's favorite player was Bo Horvat, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I still miss him, and I did have my issues with Bo. Like I thought, when he was here, there was times where somebody would take a cheap shot at one of our guys, and then instead of getting in dirty and grabbing somebody to the collar, he's talking to the referee instead. But I mean, that's you're splitting hairs when it comes down to it. The first half of the season that Bo Horvat, the last one he played for the Canucks, he was on an absolute tear before they traded him.
Yeah.
He wanted to stay here, and then it comes up today from I think it was on the Donnie and Dolly show. Dollywall and Farhan Lalji were chatting about it, and apparently Bo Horvat was like this close to signing, and then last minute everything changed, and so that kind of smells to me like maybe Aquaman got involved. As he sometimes does, because he wanted JT Miller instead. So that
money.
that makes it hurt even more.
Yeah. The one thing that I kind of look back on it when I do try to think about it in the way of like, oh, we should have got rid of Miller. Was Horvat's play was a little bit unsustainable at the time, and he was asking for a lot of money. Until he signed what 8.5 with the Islanders, so it was a lot of money. But honestly, for how he's playing right now, I would absolutely take 8.5. Even if it's going to take him into what till he's like 35 or something like that. He is just, and also I have his jersey on the wall. It's signed. I believed in him from day one before he was captain. It was just so sad to see him go, but I'm happy I get to cheer for him again when he's with Team Canada. I'm glad he's not an American. That would have been heartbreaking as well. It's easier. It's easier with JT Miller as an American, isn't it? Because of the way things ended with the Vancouver Canucks, the Four Nations. It definitely helped. I don't know how you felt when he had that fight. I was kind of giggling a little bit that he got his ass kicked. He
JT
did.
Miller punching himself in the head.
Yeah.
We all remember that.
Boom,
right. And then today, I watched the first part of the Latvia versus USA game.
Uh-huh.
And it was funny because JT Miller sets up Quinn Hughes to score, gets negated because it was an offside, and then JT Miller then causes another
goalie interference.
goaltender interference, right? So 2 goals involving JT Miller both get taken away by good calls by the Latvian coach there, so that was kind of funny to see.
Yeah, and all the Latvian players for Vancouver was really nice to see. I saw Ravinskas on the ice. I was happy to see that. And Bluger wearing number 23 looks really funny to me. But yeah, it was nice to see those guys out on the ice for the team Latvia. And Brock, what a game for Brock Nelson. I do have to get my hands up. Brock Nelson, what a game he had. But let's move into the topic that we're all here. It's going to probably be on the thumbnail. I haven't made it yet, but it's probably going to be on the thumbnail. Adam Foote. I want to take you back all the way to when he was hired. I think it was around June or May when he was hired. What were your initial thoughts on the Adam Foote hire when it happened?
I was upset because honestly, I wanted Manny Malhotra.
Yeah.
And everyone who's watched my show or watched my side show with Dustin or post game shows, that's something we talked about. Manny Malhotra is the kind of coach that can develop players. He's proved that through his first year. Anytime anyone gets called up from Abbey, they come right in the lineup, play very well, and he takes players that are project players. Like Linus Karlsson is the player he is today in large part due to that year he spent with Manny Malhotra, right?
Yeah.
So, and then the other thing that really worried me initially was when they had Adam Foote in front of the mic. They're like, okay, Adam, like, what are you going to do? What's your coaching style? What are you expecting from your team? First word salad out of the pantry chef's mouth, right? And that's what I call Adam Foote, the pantry chef, because all he can make is word salads. And I was like, okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He just got hired. Maybe he hasn't really figured things out. Maybe we'll, once the year gets going, we get into the training camp, we'll have a better idea of what Adam Foote is going to do as a coach. And it hasn't changed. We're now 50, almost 60 games into this Canucks season, and I still have no idea what he wants. And when you watch the product on the ice, it's very much like his post-game shows. It's like a word salad on the ice.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what he expects from his players. And then to top it off, he gets a guy like DPD or Mancini or these guys coming up from Abbey to play, and he's like, oh, well, Lekermacki, now that we're going to teach him some things. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Lekermacki is developing beautifully under Manny down there in Abbotsford.
Point per game.
And he comes up and you're benching him in the third period after he scored with his former line mate.
Yeah.
You don't put him in the shootout, even though he scored an absolute beauty the other day down in Abbotsford before the break for the All-Stars.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's the thing is I was hoping eventually we'd get some clear picture of what Adam Foote expects. And I honestly think that might be part of the problem for the players that are on this Canucks team. They don't really know what Adam Foote expects from them.
Professional at work, because I had 2 more questions to follow up, and you answered both of them before I could even get to them. But yeah, so I wanted to try to get a little bit more down to the exact moment of when you thought this isn't working with Adam Foote. So sure, you probably gave him a bit of the benefit of the doubt. You didn't like the hire at first. A lot of people didn't. I was kind of a fan of it due to just kind of the Quinn Hughes side of it. I did kind of want to keep Quinn Hughes, and I did think that putting Manny in the AHL for 1 more season maybe would help him, get a little bit better as a coach, better than he already is. But when did that benefit of the doubt get ripped away from Adam Foote in terms of your perception of him?
Once the injuries no longer became an excuse, let's be honest, and it's still to this, I think the Canucks are top 3 in the league right now for man games. I think they've lost 309 guys,
Yeah.
right? Man games lost this season, which is a crazy amount.
Mhm.
And the devastation to the center depth too. Bluger and Hedel out
Yeah.
essentially in the same game against Washington, and it
Mhm.
was over because now suddenly your only NHL center is EP40,
Yeah.
and he can't be everywhere. He can't do
No.
it all.
No.
You can either have him score goals or you can have him shut down the top line. There's not really anything you can do about that. And then on
Mhm.
top of that, it just turnover in the roster. The one game, Brock Besser, I believe, got hurt like 13 seconds into a game. And
Yeah.
at that point, the Canucks had
Yeah.
9 regulars out of the lineup, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's the thing is I think for Adam Foote, that was like the freebie. I'm like, okay, whatever, I get it. Like,
Mhm.
I still don't really agree with what you're doing with the deployment of the lines.
Oh, insane.
But when it comes down to it, when you're that devastated by injury, what are you going to do, right? You had 3 centers that should have been maybe AHL guys.
Yeah.
And you can say what you want about Ratu, but he's still developing as a
Yeah.
center. And you got David Camp as your second line center. He couldn't do it for Chechi today either. So I think for me, the moment was probably once they started getting some health back into that lineup. Once they got Bluger back in the lineup, then it just became very clear that he still was putting his lines into blenders and expecting to change something. It's like, no, Adam, the problem isn't the line combinations. The problem is you have zero structure to your game and what you're coaching them to do.
Yeah.
And so for me, then the comparison came down to it, like we've been doing a little bit today. Manny Malhotra versus Adam Foote, right? Like, the difference is insane.
Yeah. I would get to this, but I feel like I'm just going to be listing and you're just going to be saying yes to each one of these as I go. But what is your biggest issue with Adam Foote's coaching? Systems, deployment, accountability, or adjustments? Those are like examples, but I feel like you're just going to be like, yes.
All of the above. Right?
Yeah.
D, all of the above. That's always my favorite answer. And in this case, it's true, right? Like,
yeah.
And I talked a little bit with Lekramaki. Ogren get put on the line where I'm like, finally. And that's the thing, like, for anyone who hasn't seen my shows, we've been wearing this on our heads, right?
Yeah.
As the season has gone on, because as a Canucks fan, you have to hide the fact that you're a Canucks fan because it's been so bad.
Look at all the Canada jerseys I got.
It's the grab bag lines, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, it seems like even when a line does well, it doesn't matter, right? And then the other thing about Adam Foote is his post-game shows, I think he's trying to protect the team maybe, and I think something I've said a couple times, it feels like he runs the team like a member of the team, like a player on the team, rather than as a coach, because sometimes you got to call your guys out.
Yeah.
And for the first 45, 50 games of this year, Adam Foote only called out the young guys. And he was never specific, so he wasn't like, oh, this guy or this guy, which is fine, because he's still trying to protect his guys.
Especially the younger ones,
only calling out the young guys, right?
Yeah. He had that one moment where it was in the losing streak where he did finally break and was kind of like, hey, we need some accountability. We need the play to pick up a little bit. And I really like that. I liked it, but it's just been once. And it's been a whole season of what he probably saw then before he finally made the decision to say something like that. Has he improved on anything, do you think, as the season has gone on? For me, deployment, I feel like, is still the same. The systems is still the same. I tried to make a video before the season trying to predict his systems, and even now, I don't even know what his systems are. Do you think he's improved at all throughout the year?
I'm so shocked. Like, he was literally the D coach for the Vancouver Canucks last year. But then I feel like he was just doing what Rick Tocchet told him to do. Because if you go back and watch some of the interviews between Rick Tocchet and Adam Foote talking about their relationship and how Adam Foote wasn't even looking to become a coach in the league again. He was done with it. He had finished up his thing with the Kelowna Rockets, which was an unmerited. He didn't even coach a full season.
No.
He came in as a hire when they fired their old coach, and he didn't make it through the next season. He only coached like 108 games. I think he coached like 54 games each season he was in, and he got fired while they were the host for the Memorial Cup. And the crazy thing is the Kelowna Rockets, they are hosting the Memorial Cup again this year. And Adam Foote is doing the exact same thing, only this time it's with the Vancouver Canucks instead of with the WHL team. And if it was any other thing other than a tank season,
Yeah.
if you were any other GM, any other president of hockey operations, Adam Foote's done, right? He's gone.
Yeah.
You set franchise records. It's on the side of the mask, right? We were keeping track. Like they had an 8-game losing streak, and they had an 11-game winless streak, right?
Yeah.
Right? So they were very close to Marc Messier level bad, and that is pretty much the low point outside of probably the 80s for this franchise. I don't personally remember the 80s, but I've talked to people who were there, and it's terrible, right?
Yeah.
But I was there for the Marc Messier days, and it was terrible, right? So if you're reaching that level of bad with Mike Keenan, who's the guy who beat you in the Stanley Cup Finals 4 years previous, and then you have the captain who tried to take out Trevor Linden, right? And then took the C from him. Like, it's something that you couldn't even write in some kind of like hockey TV series, right? So Adam Foote has just been a total disaster. And if it wasn't as bad as it was, and they were still trying to make the playoffs, thank God they're still not talking about that, because they were for probably too long.
Yeah.
He would have been gone. Like, bar none, right?
I feel like it was weird as well with the coaches that were available to hire. I'm sure maybe, not wanting to come here was an option, but you're looking at Team Canada's bench. Peter DeBoer, he doesn't have a job in the NHL. What the hell? And I know he had a little thing with Jake Ottinger. Maybe you're worried that could have boiled over to Thatcher Demko, but Demko wasn't probably going to be on the ice anyway. He was probably going to be hurt. It's just so weird to me that they did go with Adam Foote. It did seem like a Quinn Hughes decision, like I kind of liked it for. One sec, I got to read, and I'm not very good at it.
Let me ask you a question then.
Yeah.
Because I think we all agree that Adam Foote was hired in some way to keep Quinn Hughes happy. So my next question for you, did they give Quinn Hughes the captaincy to keep Quinn Hughes happy?
Apparently they had an inkling that he wanted to leave that season. So I think so. I do think so. With what I'm hearing, as much as I don't want to say it, yeah. Man, it's weird how this management has... I mean, I understand it, right? You want to keep a player like Quinn Hughes. If you're buying in to keep a guy like Quinn Hughes, that's fair. But if you knew he was gone, what are you doing? Why are you buying in like that for a player that you knew was going to... Just get rid... Like, do the player right and get rid of him in a way that they did eventually end up doing. Just doesn't make sense.
One theory that me and my co-host Dustin have is that Jim Rutherford's playing 4D chess, and I don't think I'm as upset with Rutherford and Alvina as a lot of the fan base is.
Yeah.
Because honestly, there's a lot of things that have occurred since Rutherford got here that I think has been completely outside of their control. And don't get me wrong, they made some really dumb decisions at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, Jim Rutherford, I think, was like, okay, I'm going to hire Adam Foote, keep Quinn Hughes happy, even though I know he's probably going to ask for a trade.
Yeah.
And then secretly, that means I know that this coach is going to tank this team. So, and everyone thinks I'm insane and I've got my tinfoil hat on, but I honestly think that
I'm taking the tinfoil hat right off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm on your side. I'm on your side with this. I actually kind of agree that Alvin and Rutherford aren't as bad as a lot of people think, because I do think that they had to, take over for Jim Benning and the mess he made. But I do think the couple mistakes they did make were the Mikheyev deal, where they had to trade. And then that leads into the other two mistakes I think that they made, was trading 2 second-round picks to get rid of Jason Dickinson and Ilya Mikheyev's contract. 4D chess? I don't know. I feel like that's the tinfoil hat. I feel like you're right, though, that they're not as bad as a lot of people think, and I think that they can handle the rebuild, although they didn't want to in Pittsburgh, which did concern me a little bit.
You hear Rutherford talk about how this rebuild's already underway, and they've been doing it for about 2 or 3 years. And if you go and look at the Canucks drafting record for the ever since Rutherford took over this team, if you look up and down, I would say, I don't have the exact number, but let's say in the last 5 drafts since Rutherford got here, they've had maybe like 25 picks in those 5 drafts.
I have a piece of paper.
The amount of players that are still in the Canucks organization that this management team has drafted they're still here, right? Like, it's not like they've lost a bunch of guys.
Yeah, sorry, I was looking because I did actually have a piece of paper that... Here it is. All right. So, since Alvin and Rutherford took over, I went through their first 2 drafts, and your first draft out of 7 players, 5 of them currently play in the AHL or NHL. You got Tom Vilander. Now, Hunter Brutstevich, who plays with Calgary, but I'm counting it because they drafted him. Sawyer Minio, Ty Mueller, Victor Ulrichsen, and then the draft before that, 4 out of 6, Lekermaki, DP, Tayan, Kirill Gudryatsev, and I didn't really do the last 2 drafts because, I mean, it's too soon. Still too early, and it's not. It's not NHL players.
The quality of the players,
yeah.
Right? Like, even if you look at these guys, like Riley Patterson's tearing it up.
Yes.
Anthony Romani's playing really well. Parker Alkos is a stud.
Yes.
Vasile Sansonas is playing really, really well. And then you look at the most recent one, Medvedev is the consensus, like, generational goaltender out of that draft.
Struggling a little bit as of recent, I saw, but he did have a really, really, really good start of the year with London. London's also not as good as they were last season.
Right.
As well, Braden Coots, how he developed, and he was so good instantly out of the gate, and he's struggled a little bit with Prince Albert, but his time with Seattle before he got traded was insane. They're drafting and they're developing. The way that they've established a system to be able to develop players definitely benefits them. This kind of leads into it, and I feel like we already have the answer of how much of this is actually Adam Foote versus the front office and roster construction.
I feel like I think it's just like I think the blame is equally to go around.
Yeah.
Because I feel that, and one thing I have said on my stream a few times is that if Manny Malhotra is coaching this team rather than Adam Foote, I think that this team is not in dead last by 7 points. And when I talk about that, you look at Manny Malhotra down in Abbotsford, and I have my own little tracker that I have. That tracks the Abby Canucks for the stats that you want, but you don't really need. And in the last 30 games that Manny Malhotra's been coaching down in Abbotsford, that goes all the way back to, it's 29 games, but it goes back to November 29th. And that's when the Canucks started getting a little bit healthier, right? In that time, the Abbotsford Canucks are 13, 13, and 3. They're a 500 hockey team and are on a pace that would put them at a playoff team pace.
Yeah.
And now the first bit of that season was a total write-off.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is that the Abbey Canucks have been devastated, and you know that because you're the season ticket holder.
Yes, I'm there a lot.
Live from the Rogers Forum, and they had 11 forwards, and one of them was actually a defense in the last 2 games, and they had 9 regulars out of the lineup. They've been devastated by injuries. But in that time, they have gone at 500 clip.
Yeah.
And it's so much different because, yes, it's going to be a long stretch for Abby to make the playoffs. They're 12 points out, but it's possible. Right? They're not mathematically eliminated at this point. And so that tells me that under a proper system, even the pieces that Adam Foote has, they should be better. And I think Adam Foote makes an injured team even worse than they are.
Just a little sidebar. Do you think EA overrates the Vancouver Canucks in terms of their overalls? Because whenever I do sim with the Vancouver Canucks, they sim really well. Do you think that this team is, with Quinn Hughes at the start of the season, constructed to make the playoffs? Or do you think that Manny Malhotra would just keep them floating?
If you had a healthy Demko, well, I mean, I guess
what ifs?
If you have a healthy Canucks roster,
yeah,
right, and you had someone else other than Adam Foote coaching this team, I say the Canucks would have made the playoffs this year. And that, that's where people think I've got a tinfoil hat on.
I was in the same bracket at the start of the year. I thought the Vancouver Canucks would be 3rd in the Pacific, maybe even a wild card team, especially because they were so close last year. And everything went wrong, and it seems like more stuff's going wrong. And I do think that we did gamble on a lot of what ifs, but I do think that when healthy, this team is a playoff team. Now, take a little step back, kind of build up a little bit, and it's why I can see when Rutherford talks about a 2 to 3 year rebuild timeline. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I don't want it. I want a little bit longer of a rebuild. It seems like Aquilini talk where he's like, fine, but only 2 to 3 years. But I can see a way out of it in 2 to 3 seasons. To development. I just wanted to hop into this because I do think that I have noticed it a little bit, and I think there's been some talk on, I forget if it's on Sportsnet during the Canucks games, or just I'm listening to 650. Do you think Adam Foote has helped or hurt the young players? And do you think he's putting them in positions to succeed? Guys like Vilander, Boyum, Leckermacky. Obviously, we know what you think about Leckermacky, but there's other players that he definitely has played a little bit more. Do you think he's putting them in positions to succeed?
No.
No? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
The very clear example is he talks about how guys should be able to play on both sides, right?
Well, yeah.
So specifically for his decor,
Uh-huh.
why in God's green earth are you taking the young guys who are literal rookies in this league and making them play on their offside when you have Tyler Myers and Hronek, who are the veterans who should be the ones who do that? And any other coach in this league, if they were forced to play a right side defenseman on the left side, that would be the veteran doing it, not the rookie.
Yeah.
And so suddenly when DPD doesn't look like he did last year, everyone's like, what's happening? It's because they're making him play on the wrong side. He's having to completely relearn something he's been doing for his entire career. And then you have to send him down. You send him down to Manny for a little bit, and then suddenly he's back up and up. Yeah. And then they bring him up, put him on his proper side, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, look, he's doing well now. Yeah, that's because he got to go down and vent to Manny. Can you imagine being in the room when DP's just like, I've seen some things and I don't recommend it, right?
Yeah.
So, no, Adam Foote is terrible for the development of the young
guys. Yeah, when they sent DPD down, I just wish that they'd hold him down there for just a tiny bit longer so I could watch him play hockey. But I've missed the boat on all of it. Same with Vilander. I missed him. The one game I could have gone to, I was like, nope, you guys can go. Nice little date night for my parents. Nope, one game that Vilander played. Let's see here. The future is the next one, and I don't know how to read. What would he need? Yeah, what would Adam Foote need to show either the rest of the season to get another year, in your opinion? Now, I honestly think that you're going to say it's too far gone, but do you think that he can show something to get another year in the Vancouver Canucks head coaching job?
What are we at? 58 games played or something like that?
Yeah.
Like he literally has 20 plus games, just a little bit more than 20 games left. 27.
Yeah, 57. Right? I just went and checked.
Man, if he could show some understanding of chemistry and how that's supposed to work, then maybe. But I honestly don't think there's anything that he can do in this last part of the season that would prove to me that he has any right to be a head coach in any way, shape, or form on any team in this league.
Yeah. Just for everyone watching, I'm asking these questions. I don't think these questions, but I don't think he deserves another year. I'm just asking them to see if I can get Russ to say it so that he gets all the anger thrown at him. Is there value in keeping him for the rest of this losing season in terms of culture and stability? Or do you think that, I feel like now they're so far gone, you could bring Manny in and establish a system at the moment? What's your opinions? Do you think we should hold on to Foote for the rest of the year?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Tank Commander is here to finish the job, right? That's something we've started doing because things have gotten so bad here. Now, when any other team scores on us, we go Tank, baby, Tank, right? So, I mean, let him finish the job, terminate him, and knowing that he's Rick Tockett's buddy, he'll probably just quit or JT Quitter and Quit Hughes and Rick Tocchet, right?
No. I wouldn't call him Quit Hughes.
I made a whole job. I'll play.
Yeah, I made a whole video defending the fact that we failed him. I can't really say Quit Hughes, and also I'm gonna back away from this one.
So, question for you then.
Yeah.
Does Quinn Hughes' performance in Minnesota in his first 25 games change your perspective on whether or not he quit on this team?
Better team around him, I feel like. I just feel like it's a better team around him. And the thing I just thought about right now when I was thinking about Zeev Boyum and I asked you that question about all the young players and how good he was doing at Minnesota, do you think it was because he was a little bit protected with how good that decor is, as to where now we're throwing him in and being like, be Quinn Hughes? Because he was behind Faber, Spurgeon, Brodin, like a lot of good, solid defensemen who could show him the way and that can fill those top four lines. We don't really have that. Do you think it's just because we got to throw him into the fire? It's just like, be Quinn Hughes?
I think it's the same as what I talk about with DPD. I don't think they've set him up for success. He's paired with Tyler Myers.
Yeah.
Right? And Tyler Myers last season, Tyler Myers was a legit second pair defenseman. But this season he's verging being back to Chaos Giraffe.
Yeah.
And Tyler Myers is my favorite player on this team right now. When he plays to the level I know he can, and right now he's not. And so it's the same thing as the other young players. I don't think Adam Foote is setting him up for
Bottom right Myers has been in full effect this season. Um, another question we're gonna go to Boyum here. I think that they've been playing Vilander with Hronik a lot. Am I wrong? Um, do you think
yeah.
that putting Vilander with Tyler Myers? Wait, no, they're both right-handed defense. Wait,
Yeah.
they've been playing Vilander with Hronik?
Yeah, they have. That's the thing. They're switching. They're doing the same thing to Vilander. They're playing him on the wrong side.
Oh my
It's
god.
like learning a new job. Like you get a
Yeah.
job in the kitchen, right? And it's like, here, we're gonna teach you how to cook steaks. And then while you're like halfway through your training, like, oh, here, we're gonna show you how to use the deep fryer. It's like, I still haven't figured out how to cook the steaks, right? So
Yeah.
they're trying to. You got to focus on one thing before you move on to the next. And I don't think Adam Foote knows how to do that.
Yeah, I just got that. You could see the gears turning in my head as I was trying to ask that question and be like, "Wait, Vilander's been playing on the left side. He's a right shot D man." Um, I think we kind of already answered this question. If Adam Foote is fired tomorrow, does anything actually change?
Well, this is the thing is the other reason I don't want Adam Foote to get fired is because I still want Manny Malhotra down in Abbotsford.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the chances are slim, but if they can make a push for the playoffs, I would love to see him take that team to another run. Because once the Vancouver Canucks are done, boom, you're gonna send down the guys that we have had up. And then maybe Abby can go on a nice little run and get some more experience. And Manny Malhotra can further prove that he's a better coach.
If we can clone All-Star Game Ben Berard for Abby, I think we would have a great run. What a goal he scored there in the skills competition. And this kind of, I feel like I just asked the same question twice here in my paper here. All right, this is the last question. For those of you wondering why there was a cut, Zoom decided to stop the meeting. Right now, are you in or out when it comes to Adam Foote and this coaching job in Vancouver?
Oh man, I'm on record as saying that Adam Foote is the worst coach in the history of the Vancouver Canucks, and he hasn't even made it out of this season, right? He is the worst coach. So I say let the tank commander finish the job, get him out of here, and then next year, right when training camp starts, get Manny Malhotra up here, and the boys can start the rebuild from there with the top 3 pick the Canucks are going to get, Braden Coots, and all these other young guys that have already developed a good relationship with Manny Malhotra down
in Before we get into the bold take, I actually do want, because you brought up Braden Coots, and I'm going to ask one more question. Do you think Braden Coots plays in Abbotsford next season, or do you think he's going to move up into the Vancouver Canucks roster? Personally, I think he's going to play in Abbotsford, because they're going to add that 19-year-old rule where you can have one. Hopefully, if that rule gets added, obviously, if it doesn't, he's going back to the WHL. Do you think he plays in Abbotsford, or do you think he has a good offseason?
Man, it's one of those things you have to ask yourself, because he made the team out of camp.
Yeah.
That's probably as a result of the Canucks' terrible center depth. And I also don't see the Canucks going out and signing anyone big this season that might be able, and I have zero confidence that
anybody wants to come here.
Right? Like, I don't want Hedl back in this lineup. Like, the dude just needs to retire. Like, we don't want to. It's Michael Furlan all over again.
Yeah.
I love Hedl to death for the passion that he shows and the effort that he's put in to get back in this lineup. But from a human standpoint, Hedl needs to just, take his money and get out of there and take his health as much as he's got left, right? So,
yeah.
But I think I'm leaning more towards Braden Coots starting the season down in Abbotsford, but I mean that's also coming from a management team that had him start this year. So maybe, I'd say number 1 and 2 centers down in Abbotsford next year are Riley Patterson and Braden Coots.
Oh man, it's gonna be so fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right, the last thing I know a lot of other podcasts probably do this, but my big thing, because I couldn't come up with an idea now, is that every guest has to give me a bold take to end the episode. Russell, do you have a bold take that might throw me out of my chair for the viewers as well?
I'm glad you're already sitting down, because this one's a doozy.
I'm standing up, man.
Yeah. Within the next 18 months from today, which is February 12th, 2026, the Vancouver Canucks will be breaking ground on a brand new practice facility.
I don't believe it. Too much money for Aqua to spend. You know what? Yeah, I can see that happening. But it definitely is a bold take with how Aqua has been in terms of spending money.
So this is why I say that, and it's not just like I mean, it's pretty crazy take.
Yeah,
Aquaman's cheap as hell.
insane.
But for anyone who didn't see, the Vancouver Canucks are changing their sponsorship when it comes to their bank. So everyone sees the TD on their chest.
Uh-huh.
So starting next year, the new sponsor for the Vancouver Canucks is going to be RBC. And part of that deal, it has been reported that Aquilini and the Vancouver Canucks are going to get some sweet deals on some big ass loans, which means that's going to be a lot more liquid money in this organization, which I think, and there was a little nugget dropped from the management team that they're going to be talking about ramping up the development side of things. So those two things together, extra money and a little nugget from the management team, tells me that finally the Vancouver Canucks, who have been embarrassed repeatedly by former players being asked about how much they love the practice facility with their new team, will be able to finally shut those reporters up and have their own practice facility, at least breaking ground on it.
I'm going to add a little bit here, and I'm going to add to your bold take. And I think that the reason we're going to get a new practice facility and arena upgrades is because the city of Vancouver is going to be the host city for the 2028 World Cup of Hockey. I think that since, he did it with the Olympics in 2010, he upgraded a lot of our facilities. We'll get that. We'll get upgrades. And I still won't go to a Vancouver Canucks game because it's going to be too expensive. Russell, thanks for coming on and for being the first guest of the CanucksLand Podcast, as it makes sense as you were the first show that I was a guest on. There we go. I got it, guys. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Pleasure to have you. And it's weird being the one asking the questions this time. But yeah.
It's an honor, buddy. I appreciate you bringing me on. I've been waiting. I've been excited to come on. I know you do podcasts on a week-to-week basis. I know for anyone who's watching this CanucksLand man, he grinds and he's out here. And that's the thing I always talk about. And I tell you every time you're on my show, the people I bring on my show are the ones out here who are grinding. And together, we can defeat the YouTube algorithm together because it's nonsense. And if we do this kind of thing where we go on each other's shows, that's the best way to do it. So I very much appreciate you bringing me on. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm ready to go anytime you want.
And last but not least, where can everybody find you? Because everyone needs to go join your live streams. And also, what can they expect from your content?
So Nothing is Perfect on YouTube. It's hilarious because the name is actually terrible because the O in nothing is actually a 0. That's why we say we're putting the 0 in nothing. Because Nothing is Perfect was already taken. So I had to put a 0 there. It's like a gamer tag, but it worked out. So check me out on YouTube. I got all my other socials linked on there. But my main thing is YouTube. We're live during every single Vancouver Canucks game. We're currently covering all of the Canadian men's hockey tournament. So we'll be covering them. We were live this morning. We're going to be live for the whole thing. We always bring on special guests like CanucksLand. We have on other guests. We've had on Eddie Lack before. We've had on Brandon Astle. So we love to bring in special guests to come onto the show for intermissions. I got Dustin Boydell, who's my co-host, who's on it pretty much every single stream as well. And then as well, we have been covering Abbotsford Canucks, like you mentioned. Sometimes we love doing a Canucks doubleheader because sometimes one team plays at 4 and the other team plays at 7. So we'll cover both those games. And then as well, we are covering some of the Vancouver Golden Eyes games as well, because it's awesome to see those ladies out there working their butts off and been looking really good lately. So come check us out, say hi in chat, and yeah, it's lots of fun. There's lots of everyone's welcome in Nothing is Perfect. We got fans from everywhere, so make sure you stop by and say hello when you're in the live.
You're going to have to teach me how to reach out to some of these people that you have on because I'm starting to have guests on now. But yeah, that's about it, everybody. I'm going to make Russ watch me do the outro because I'm a professional at it. That is it, everybody. If you're a Canucks fan and you enjoyed this kind of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I set a goal to try to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this upcoming season. Also, leave a like and a comment down below. Let us know what you guys thought about any take, especially the hot ones said by this guy over here. But without further ado, the video on your right is the video from Wednesday. The video on your left is the video from Friday. Subscribe's right down under the video on your right. I'll see you guys in the next one.